Hey guys, Thomas here, and I have a confession to make. I don't read that much manga. But I'm trying. I'm honestly trying. So when I got the idea to cover Solo Leveling, I was looking at how much I had to read, and when I saw it was over 80 chapters, I thought it was gonna take a month for me to get through. But 6 hours later and I was already halfway through, and had to physically stop myself from ingesting it in one sitting. One more chapter, one more volume. So, since you recommended it to me on Twitter, I wanted to check it out. And in all honesty, I really like the look of manhwa or webcomics or however you'd like to call them. It's just their flow from page to page is really nice since it doesn't have to follow the average boundaries of manga, so all the action is seamless, just flowing like the water. That looks sweet. I dig the way the transportation works. It's not a one-way trip against their will, but it's done through portals that appear every so often, and the ones who go through it are adventurers. They're humans, but a bit stronger than humans. They get paid for going in and killing the monsters. Otherwise, if they don't do it in time, the monsters come out of the dungeon and kill the humans who are nearby, and just go on from there. Sadly, the main character is beyond basic, and God, I hate using those words. Basic, bland, average. Do you think I enjoy saying them? That I don't have anything more constructive to say? No! It's just that they're all the freaking same. Look, I'll make a promise to you right now. I'll stop saying that they're bland once you add a bit more motivation to a person, other than giving them a sick parent. Our main character is literally called the weakest adventurer, since they have the technology to test out their power levels, and his are off the charts, by being so low that they don't even register. But he still pushes on to make money for his sick mother, and it is revealed to us that he does get picked in teams, because teams need to have a certain amount of members to go in a dungeon, and for the weaker dungeons, like, people don't really want to go in there because the loot isn't that big, so they just take everybody in. And that's where we start, with a standard dungeon. They go in, they kill monsters, and then they stumble upon a dilemma. Go back after finishing it, or take an ominous path in hopes to find more treasure. I'm gonna let you guess which one they took. Well, surprise, bitches! It's a boss room, and most of them get wiped out. In all fairness, I really like the tone of it. How they manage to portray the dismay everyone's feeling, and even the riddles they have to solve. At some point, they play green light, red light, but instead of losing the game, they would just, like, outright die. Now, of course, our hero is the only one who passes the challenge, and then he reawakens, which means that everything's the same, but he now has a video game HUD. For whatever reason. The new mechanic forces him to improve, or else he goes into the penalty zone, which means that some giant bugs will try to kill him, so he actually does train and improve, which means that he instantly gets ripped after 2 weeks of working out. Don't worry guys, even if you were born short, skinny, look weird in your face, you can still get ripped and somehow grow taller. And even change your facial structure to look more handsome with this one simple trick. The reawakening. It even differs from usual storylines by having the main character be betrayed by some adventurers and making the game system give him orders to kill them. And goddamn, I for sure didn't think he'd do it. 0% I thought. I was so damn sure he was gonna go to goody two-shoes route. But it wasn't like Batman where he was like, off to jail with you, so you can fuck me later. The dude slaughters them all without any remorse, even the ones who are escaping. In a way, it's like Shield Hero, but he actually has his balls. So he keeps on training and doing quests and getting money, etc. And around chapter 50, we hit the arc that kinda ruins the story for me. Or at least the pacing. My main problem, not even with isekais but with action series in general, is that they can't power scale for shit. Here it reached that point at around the 50 chapter mark, since well before he was still kinda human and it might have looked like he could fall victim to his enemies, even though he wouldn't because his luck is stronger than Yugi's heart of the cards. Let's be real, every time he goes on to ramble about his heart of the cards he just slips a card out of his freaking sleeve. Sung Jin-woo's quirk is that he can level up and get stronger while nobody else can. So in this world you're born with a set of power and can only get stronger by reawakening, but that's super rare and still doesn't allow growth. It just sets your bar higher. So he already has an advantage over everybody, but even besides that, he also gets a new job. in the RPG sense. So now he's a necromancer, and that means he can literally summon an army of the undead. It starts off with like 12 souls, but ramps up to a couple hundred pretty quickly. It's not necessarily plot breaking, but I've read power fantasies before, and after reading one of them, unless you do something really unique, it just feels the same. Also, in regards to the name, it kinda stops being solo leveling and more like army leveling. But that doesn't roll off the tongue that well. Not going to lie though, the shadows look freaking amazing. I love their design, their movements, and even the fun little personalities that all of them get. As of writing this review, I'm at around chapter 90, so I haven't finished the story yet, it's still ongoing, but I doubt I will. While the beginning was unique, interesting, and I loved how the characters progressed, it just fell into a standard power fantasy. Not to mention that the story kinda takes a backseat to the power tripping. At points a whole chapter can pass with barely any dialogue and only action, and even though it might look cool, it becomes mundane. Sure, the overall story is still evolving with time, but it's doing so towards a more standard storyline that most of us with some background in anime or isekais already know. By the 90th chapter, he's already one of the most powerful beings on Earth, and with the rate he's improving, he could easily be the strongest within a couple of chapters. The only real plot moving point is that there's a gate on an island far away that threatens humanity because it's a gate that was opened a long time ago and nobody could close it because it's just too difficult. But that's just going back to the standard trope of saving the world, and at this point he has a whole army behind him, so I can't imagine it going any other way than humanity winning in a climactic battle. Honestly, even though I've been bitching about how vanilla it has turned, it's still a great read. Every time I started a chapter, it managed to capture my attention, with a couple exceptions being where the whole chapter was just fighting and it got kind of boring. And most of the chapters do end on a cliffhanger, so it's almost impossible to stop reading. Once I did stop reading though after my initial binge, I just didn't see that much reason to go back to it. So solo leveling is a 7 out of 10. But let me know how you like this manhwa review, and would you like to see more? One of my favorite ones is Sleepless. I freaking adored it to bits, and I'd like to make a review out of it, I think. So I'll be looking forward to your comments down below. Maybe you'd like to see something else. Are you still reading solo leveling? Does it get better? Does it continue like that? Let me know. Anyways, thanks for watching. If you want to support my channel, then please do leave a like. And I'll see you soon with a interesting video in a couple of days. It's gonna be something different. Okay, cut.